Hello and welcome. Today we're working on the new XLOOKUP function in Excel. It's new as of 2019 and 2020. So let's get started. My name is Jeff from Finally Learn, and I help you finally learn financial skills, including how to do Excel. So let's look at XLOOKUP. The very top three functions right now are sum and average and VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP has been around a long time. A lot of people know how to do things in VLOOKUP. But Microsoft has decided to replace VLOOKUP. It's still there, but they have a new function. They intend for it to replace VLOOKUP, and that's called XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP has the advantage of being vertical or horizontal or left or right, and so it doesn't have the limitations of VLOOKUP. So they intend it to really replace VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, the regular lookup, and even index and match functions that some people use. So XLOOKUP is new basically in 2020 for the Microsoft 365 channel. And so if you have that, you have the ability to do XLOOKUP. And I encourage you to use it anytime you can instead of the VLOOKUP. All right, so here's the arguments for XLOOKUP. They have lookup value. That's the value we're going to search for. The lookup array, the range to search. The return array, the range to return. If it's not found, now there used to be an error if it's not found in VLOOKUP, it just returns this in a error, not available. And so that's a problem. This one you can say, hey, there's no match, and you can have it where it's not an error. You can specify a word or a number or whatever you need if it's not found. And then the match mode is, do you want an exact match or do you want an approximate match, like the larger number or a smaller number, and you can specify how that works. The last one is a search mode, which is you can search from first to last or last to first, or there's some other more specific options there. So let's look at our form here. Let's create a form. We have date and passengers and flights that are given, and we're going to have flights, departure cities, an arrival city, and base fare, and so on. Now this is a repeat of a video that I did with VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, and I'll link to that below. But we want to use XLOOKUP all the way, except for just a few different examples. So let's look at our data. Our data is composed of flights, and in fact we have flight numbers all the way to 1081. We have departure city, arrival city, and base fare. So that's one table. Another table has fare categories 1, 2, and 3, and ticket prices, and then airport fees based on the ticket prices. A third table is the discount category. If we have the weekday, which is weekday 1 would be Sunday, 7 would be Saturday, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then fare category 1, 2, and 3, and we have these discount codes. And the discount codes then are at AA, there's no discount, X is 10%, Y is 25%, and Z is 40%. So we're going to do all that, just show you how to do lookup with tables, and we're going to use XLOOKUP as much as we can. So let's get started with our first XLOOKUP. Now, we're going to do the flight number. If we know 1022, we would go to the data and scroll down 1022. It's a flight that leaves New York and flies to Indianapolis, and it's $490 is the base fare. Well, Excel is excellent at doing this. It can grab this, and that's always been a VLOOKUP. You would do the 1022 and you'd pull the column 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. Well, we can do this now in XLOOKUP. It's a little bit different, so let's show how it works. So we're going to search for, I like using the formula builder, so I'm going to use the formula builder XLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP, my lookup value is 1022, my lookup array, and all I need to do on this is just give myself the array that is the flight number all the way down. It's going to look in the lookup array the flight numbers. Now, I know I'm going to copy that down, so I need to make that an absolute address with $signs using the F4 function. And I want to return the departure cities. So the departure cities are going to be, starts with New York and then all the way down, all the way to Salt Lake City. I want that also to be absolute. So I'm going to look up flight 1022. It's going to find it and then return whatever city. If it's not found, okay, so if it's not found, we could put something like, let's just put none. And that would be clear, and that's going to be a label. Now watch what Excel does. It figures out it's a label, and so it puts double quote, none, double quote, and so it will return. If we don't have a flight number, then it won't give us an error. It will just say none. It doesn't have a flight 1100 maybe. So the match mode, let me go up here to the formula bar, and match mode, do we want an exact match, or next smaller item, or an exact match, or the next larger item, or is there going to be a wild card that we match? Well, flight numbers are numbers, but they're really labels. We don't add, flight 1022 times 3, or flight 1022 plus flight 1033. So this is really an exact match, so we're going to do an exact match. The last one, which is the search mode, do we want to search first at the top to last, last to first? We could do that if we had a data set that we wanted the most recent. And so here, search first to last is what we're going to do, and so it'll be a 1. So I'm going to hit enter. So it's New York. Remember, flight 1022 was New York, I believe, to Indianapolis. So we should be able to copy that down. So here are our cities of departure for these flights. Now let's just test it. If it's 1040, it leaves Denver. If it's, I think my largest flight number is 1081. If it's flight 1200, then there's none. It doesn't have an error message. So let's go back. 1022 is the New York flight. Now, arrival, we're going to do XLOOKUP, of course. And so we're going to look up the flight again, the lookup array, go to our data. We're going to do the flight number all the way down. And I want to do an absolute, so F4. It's going to return the arrival cities. Select all those and function F4 for the arrival cities, make them absolute. If it's not found, we'll put none is fine. The match mode, I think it's going to be 0 for an exact match. Yes. So 0, we can type in 0, or we can just click on it or tab if it's selected. And then search first to last. We want to search first to last, and that's how we do it. So now Indianapolis is our arrival city. We can copy this all the way down. All right, so we have New York to Indianapolis is flight 1022. The base fare, we're going to do that the same way. The lookup value is still flight 1022. The lookup array is going to be the flight number and all the flights that we have, which is like 80 different flights. We're going to make it an absolute address here for the data. The return is going to be the base fare. Start with the very first base fare and select the entire column. And we want to do an absolute address. So $signs in front of the D and the 2 and the D and the 82. If it's not found, we'll put none. Put whatever you want. The match mode is going to be exact on this still. So it's exact, and we want it to be first to last. We'll hit enter. Now we should be able to copy this all the way down, and we have the base fare. Okay. Now, we have a little bit of a challenge because we need to do the index, which is a column and row. So we're going to have to do, let me show you the data. The column and row here, we want this data, and we have these rows and these columns. These are Sunday through Saturday, and these are fare category 1, 2, and 3. So once we have that, we can just do just the data, and it's an index. It'll pull column 2 and row 3 or whatever. All right, we need to build that. So the weekday is just going to be, there's a weekday function. So I'm going to type this in, weekday. I'm I'm going to point to the date, so July 22nd, 2020, and then I'm going to hit comma, and you can see all the different types. If we want Sunday to be 1 and Saturday to be 7, then we'll pick that first option. So weekday 4, apparently that is a Wednesday, and so we can copy it all the way down. So here we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. Now our fare category, let's look at our data. To pull our fare category, we need to know the ticket price, which is our base fare, and then we're going to pull the fare category. We know the ticket price, and then we go left. We couldn't do this with VLOOKUP. We'd have to use lookup, but we have XLOOKUP. We can use XLOOKUP for sure. So we have XLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP, we're going to look up what? Well, we need to look up the base fare. We're going to look up in the array that is the ticket prices. I'm going to make that an absolute address. I'm going to return to the left of the fare category either 1, 2, or 3 and make that absolute. If it's not found, I'm going to put, I keep putting none, but that's fine, or you could put not available, whatever label that makes sense to you. The match mode, we want this to be, and let's think about it. Do we have one that has exactly 490? I think that's that number, it's hidden here. Do we want that mode to be exact or the next smaller? So here, we want it to be the exact match or next smaller item. Okay, it hasn't hit the 300 yet, or the 600, or whatever the one is. And we want it to be first to last. So let's see if that works. Okay, so fare category 2. Let's see if it's functioning the way we want it to be. All right, so 490. 490 we want it to be. Was that the base fare? Flight 1022, 490. It should hit 450, so it's 35. I picked the one that's the next smallest, so it pulled 30, I believe. So fare category, we need to pull the fare category. So does it pull the fare category correctly? It did. It didn't pull the 1, it pulled 2, so it looks like that's correct. So we should be able to just copy this all the way down. And so fare category 357 would be fare category 1. Let's check. 350. So if it's above the 300, below the 450, then it's still fare category 1. It hasn't hit the 450, which is fare category 2. All right. So the discount, we're going to do an index on this. And we need to do the index, I think, that has 3 variables. I'm going to type that in, 3 variables, because it's going to ask us on the index, do you want how many variables? So index, we want the 3 variables here. We want the array, which is the range. Sometimes Excel uses the word range, or sometimes they use the word array. We want to make that absolute. We have a row number. The row number is going to be 1 through 7, right? So we're going to point to the weekday. Column number will point to column, the fare category 1, 2, or 3. And so it looks like this is Z. So let's check. It's weekday 4, fare category 2. It pulls Z. Is that correct? So weekday 4 and category 2, so there it pulls the Z. So you need a column and you need a row. It pulls Z. That is easy to do for one, but when you have to do dozens and dozens and hundreds and thousands, then Excel is going to be much, much faster and really a time saver to pull that information. All right, so now we have the fare categories. We should be able to copy this all the way down. So we have fare categories of Z and X and Y and then AA, and that gives us a discount. Now, the discounted fare, we're going to take this AA, X, Y, and Z, and figure out the discount. Is it 0%, 10%, 25%, or 40%? Now, this would have to be with XLOOKUP if we did the old way. XLOOKUP can handle horizontal or vertical, so XLOOKUP is much easier to use once you understand how XLOOKUP works. All right, so we're going to go back to XLOOKUP. The lookup value is going to be Z. The lookup array is going to be, I'm going to look in this row, double A rather, X, Y, and Z. I'm going to make that an absolute. I'm going to return what do I need. I'm going to pull from those percentages, make that absolute. If it's not found, I'll say none. You can put whatever you want to there. Do I need exact mode? I do need exact mode, exact match. And I want search from first to last. Now, it pulls 0, but this is a percent, so let me make it a percent. So Z is 40%. Let's check our data. Double A is 0%, X is 10%, Y is 25%, and Z is 40%, so that works correctly. Let's check our work. Let's copy it down. Y is 25, X is 10%, and double A is 0%. All those percentages work. So we're going to take the 490 and apply 40% discount. We're going to do that by taking, start with parentheses up here, change in front of the XLOOKUP, do 1, parentheses, 1 minus that 40%. I'm going to close the parentheses at the end, and it changes that 40 to 60%. So I'm changing the 25 to 75, the 10 to 90, and the 0 to 100%. Now I'm going to take that number times our base fare times the 490, and so we're applying a discount, and so the number is no longer percent now. We want it to be a dollar amount. So $490, we get a discount, and now it's down to $294 is the discounted price. All right, the airport fee, we need to pull the data from the ticket price, and then we're going to add the airport fees. Okay. So the airport fee, we're going to do XLOOKUP. We're going to look up based on the discounted fare here. The lookup array, we're going to look up here the ticket price. Make it absolute. The return array, we need to add the airport fee, so it's going to return the airport fee that's associated. If it's not found, we'll put none. That's just a label. The match mode, we want it to be exact match or the next smaller item, right? 294. We're going to look that up. There's not a 294 in our table, so we want to do the next smaller number. And then we want it to search first to last. So we'll hit done here, enter. And the airport fee for all of them is going to be 20 and 35 and 40 and so on. All right, so this one is 2,062. So we look, anything above 1,400 should be $100. Let's check. This is 1170. It should be 60. 1170 does not hit the 75 yet. Let's check. So 1170 is at the $60 level. Looks like it's functioning the way we wanted it to. All right, the total ticket price is $294 plus the $20. $314 is the total price that they pay for that ticket from New York to Indianapolis on a Wednesday fare category 2. The discount is 40%, looks like. So here's how you do the entire table. A lot of XLOOKUPs. XLOOKUPs replace all the VLOOKUPs and the HLOOKUPs. And now you know how to do XLOOKUP and add it to your tool bag for Excel. All right, thanks for watching.